Welcome to another Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a fascinating look at human consumption. We're going to unpack a concept that basically dictates almost every single decision we make on a daily basis, often without us even realizing it. We're talking about that strict dividing line between what we genuinely need to stay alive and what we simply desire. So let's kick things off with a fundamental question. Think about it. If we strip away all the modern comforts, the smartphones, the coffee shops, your comfy bed, what is biologically essential for your survival? It is so easy to lose sight of this in our complex modern world. So we're going to trace our steps all the way back to the dawn of human history to find the actual answer. To get there, here's our roadmap. We'll be looking at 1. Fulfilling basic human needs. 2. The evolution of other needs. 3. Navigating our unlimited desires. 4. Needs versus wants. And finally, 5. Making wise consumer choices. Let's start with Section 1, fulfilling basic human needs, the bare minimum for survival. If we look way back to the Stone Age, humans living out in the jungle literally only needed 3 core things to not perish. The source text identifies these as our basic needs. They needed air to breathe, water to quench their thirst, and food for hunger. That's the whole shebang. A Stone Age human absolutely could not survive without any of these factors. They're the absolute non-negotiables of biological life. Now, fresh, clean air is obviously a biological necessity, but our source warrants that our modern lifestyle actively threatens it. Think about the exhaust fumes from vehicles, massive plumes of smoke from factories, cigarette smoke, or even just smoke trapped inside houses because they don't have chimneys. All of this causes serious air pollution. In breathing that in, it directly increases our risk of falling ill, which literally compromises our very first basic human need. Which brings us to our second need, water. You might think, well, we have massive oceans, we've got plenty of it. But actually, we can't use seawater for our day-to-day needs. We have to rely on limited usable resources, like rivers, inland reservoirs, ponds, and springs. And because those sources can get polluted so easily, having clean water is a shared responsibility. We all have to pitch in. And finally, we've got food. Food gives us the vital nutrition we need for energy, for our bodies to physically grow, and to protect us from disease. We absolutely have to consume a clean, healthy, and balanced diet. But there's a modern complication noted here. Today, various agriculture chemicals are widely used in food production. Because those chemicals can be really harmful to our health, we have to be incredibly careful and intentional when we're choosing clean food. All right, moving right along to Section 2. The evolution of other needs, beyond bare survival. So as society progressed, our other needs evolved sequentially. Just look at how human dwellings changed over time. Stone Age people used caves to hide from the rain. Then, as we passed into the Nomad Age, we shifted to portable tents. Stepping into the Agricultural Age, humans started building permanent houses out of wood and wattle. And finally, we hit the present Industrial Age, with houses built using modern techniques and materials. Our needs literally diversified right alongside our social systems. You see, these other needs really emerged as humans learned to create fire, cook meat, and craft tools from stones and animal bones. Society just got more complex. Now, these aren't strictly essential to keep your heart beating, but they became essential for actually living a full life. The source breaks them down into physical needs like clothes, tools, and vehicles, mental and social needs like protection, love, and education, and even recreational activities like entertainment and sport. Okay, on to Section 3, navigating our unlimited desires, the things we just want. This is where things get really interesting, because our minds are capable of dreaming up endless cravings. Desires are basically defined as things that are absolutely not essential for life, but we just really, really like to have them. Sometimes they're totally unnecessary items, or maybe just an attractive, flashy feature added to an essential item just to catch our eye. The main takeaway here, human desires are unlimited. We always desire to upgrade what we already have. And here's the kicker. Failing to control those unlimited desires doesn't just empty your wallet. It can actually harm you physically. For example, if you're constantly eating toffees and chocolates simply because you desire them, you're going to get cavities. Or worse, you could become a victim of serious diseases like diabetes. Chasing certain desires carries very real-world risks. Let's look at a practical example in Section 4, needs versus wants, the eraser dilemma. Imagine you're standing in a bookshop looking at 2 options. Item A is a perfumed, rainbow-colored eraser that costs 20 rupees. Item B is a plain, highly effective, big eraser that costs just 10 rupees. Paying double just to get that rainbow smell is an unnecessary waste of money, right? I mean, they both serve the exact same primary function. It is so incredibly useful to develop the talent to identify what actually gives you the best value for your money. But hey, we have to remember it's not always black and white. Context matters immensely. The source gives a really great example. Imagine you see a gorgeous winter coat on a TV commercial. If you live in a warm, sunny climate, that coat is purely a desire. But if you live in a freezing cold country, that exact same coat is an absolute basic need for survival. One person's fleeting desire can literally be another person's essential need. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Making Wise Consumer Choices, a framework for living. Look, we all like to fulfill our desires, and that's perfectly okay, as long as the resources are actually available. But before you satisfy a craving, our text suggests running it through a quick mental checklist. First, ask yourself, does it suit your health? Second, does it fit your family's economic status, or is it going to burden the family budget? And third, are you using available resources wisely without wasting them? Honestly, it can be as simple as making it a habit to just close the water tap after using it. That preserves limited resources while still fulfilling your daily needs. Now, a highly practical way to audit your own habits is to make a quick chart. Just list out the items bought for your home over the past week. Write down the goods, the price, and then honestly check a box. Was this a true need or was it a desire? It's a fantastic little exercise to see exactly where your money is going and how much of it is being spent entirely on wants. So I'll leave you with this final thought to apply to your own life today. If you filled out that chart right now, looking back at your purchases from the past week, what would it reveal? Are you buying primarily for survival and essential living, or have your unlimited desires completely taken the wheel? Take a moment to really think about that before your next trip to the store. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.